Welcome to a brand new audiobook, a unique journey into your mind, imagination, and daily habits. Imagine for a moment every thought that crosses your mind, every image you visualize, and every small or large action you take shapes your life in ways you may not even notice. Your mind, your imagination, and your habits are the three tools that quietly steer your reality. In this audiobook, we will explore how your mind really works, how your imagination can transform thoughts into tangible actions, and how the small daily habits you build craft the person you are becoming. You will learn how to unlock your inner energy, unleash your creativity, and build habits that drive real success and transformation. Get ready for a journey that will change the way you see yourself and allow you to experience the world in a completely new way. Let's begin. And now we reach the end of our journey. A journey through your mind, imagination, and habits. I hope you have discovered the true power of your thoughts, understood how your imagination can transform your reality, and realized how even the smallest daily habits shape the person you are becoming. Remember, real transformation begins from within. Every thought, every imagination, every habit adds a building block to the life you are creating. Don't stop here. Continue observing your thoughts, nurturing your imagination, and cultivating your habits. Each day is a new opportunity for growth and transformation. Your mind, your imagination, and your habits. Three simple yet powerful keys that allow you to craft the life you have always dreamed of. Now, you are equipped with awareness, inspiration, and actionable steps. It is time to apply what you've learned and turn your life into a remarkable journey, full of strength, achievement, and creativity. Thank you for choosing to share this journey with me. Remember, every day is a new beginning, and every thought is a step toward your best life. The mind, this silent ocean within us. Every morning, you wake up, and it is there watching, whispering, guiding, often without your awareness. Many people think the mind is just a tool for thoughts, but the truth runs far deeper. The mind is the soil where every seed of your life is planted. It is the canvas where your reality is painted. Think for a moment. How many times has your mind complicated a simple moment? How many times did you fear something that never happened? Or quit before you even began simply because your mind created a negative picture and convinced you it was real? This is the power of the mind. It can become your greatest ally or your most dangerous enemy. The mind does not tolerate emptiness. If you do not feed it with empowering thoughts, it will feed itself with weakening ones. It is like a child. It listens, it absorbs, it believes whatever you repeat to it. And this is the moment of awareness. You are responsible for what you give to your mind. Will you feed it fear, or will you feed it faith? You let it stay trapped in the past, or will you train it to live in the present and shape the future? The mind speaks one language: repetition. Any thought you repeat daily becomes a mental habit. If you constantly repeat words of limitation, your mind believes them and builds your life upon them. If you repeat words of possibility and strength, it will believe those too and lead you to live accordingly. The secret is awareness. Once you realize that your mind is always at work day and night, building the reality you will experience, you begin to take responsibility for the seeds you plant in it. Like a farmer, you must decide, will you plant roses or will you plant thorns? The mind is not a prison, it is a doorway. It is the first gate through which imagination flows and the place where habits are born. But you must stand today and declare, I will master my mind and not be mastered by it. Imagine this. Once you learn how to make your mind serve you, everything changes. Because every true transformation begins here, with the first gateway, the mind imagination. It is the silent architect of your future. Every great invention, every achievement, every transformation humanity has ever known was born in the unseen world of imagination, before it became visible in reality. Close your eyes for a moment and think. Everything around you, the buildings, the books, the music, the technology, once existed only as a thought in someone's mind. Imagination is not daydreaming. It is not a fragile fantasy that disappears when reality knocks at the door. Imagination is the conscious ability to see beyond what is and to design what can be. The difference between a dream and imagination is clarity. Dreams are random. They drift like clouds. But But imagination is focused, deliberate, alive. When you imagine with intention, you are not escaping reality, you are shaping it. Your brain does not fully distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is actually experienced. This is why athletes visualize their performance before a competition. This is why people who imagine success with intensity often begin to act as if they already hold it. The mind begins to accept the imagined picture as truth, and your actions naturally follow the vision you have planted. Imagination is a rehearsal of reality. It is the stage where you practice the person you want to become before you step into the world and live it. And here lies its hidden magic. What you continuously imagine with emotion, the mind begins to believe. What the mind believes, the body begins to follow. And what the body follows, life eventually creates. But imagination can also become a prison when used wrongly. If you constantly imagine failure, rejection, or fear, your mind will accept it as destiny, and your actions will unconsciously create it. This is why you must guard your imagination as carefully as a treasure, because it is. So, dare to imagine the highest version of yourself, not vaguely, but clearly. See yourself waking up with discipline. See yourself speaking with confidence. See yourself achieving the goals that once felt impossible. Imagination is the first creation, action is the second. But without the first, the second can never exist. Imagination is not weakness, it is power. It is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, between what is possible and what is real. And every transformation you desire begins here, in the quiet space where your mind dares to imagine habits. The small, invisible patterns that shape the architecture of your life. They are the footsteps you repeat every single day, the choices you no longer notice, the rituals that silently carve the direction of your future. People often wait for dramatic change, for a sudden miracle, for a moment that will transform everything. But the truth is simpler and far more powerful. Your life is built not on what you occasionally do, but on what you consistently practice. A habit is a seed. It may look insignificant at first. I thought you repeat a choice you make, a tiny action. But every seed grows. Single habit, practiced daily, becomes a force that either lifts you upward or pulls you downward. If you want to predict your future, look at your habits. They are the blueprint of where you are heading. The beauty of habits is that they do not ask for perfection. They ask for repetition. The brain loves patterns. The more you repeat an action, the more it becomes automatic. What once required effort turns into instinct. What once demanded discipline becomes natural. And this is both a blessing and a warning. Good habits build freedom. Bad habits build chains. Think of it this way. Every day you are training yourself. You are training your mind, your body, your character. The question is, what are you training them to become? A person of strength, focus, and growth. Or a person trapped in distraction and weakness. The choice is yours, but the result is inevitable. Habits connect the mind and imagination to reality. The mind provides the awareness. Imagination provides the vision, but only habits make them tangible. Without habits, vision remains a picture. With habits, vision becomes life. If you want to transform your life, start small. Replace one destructive habit with one constructive one. Read a page instead of scrolling endlessly.
Exercise for 10 minutes.
Instead of saying, "I'll start tomorrow," wake up 15 minutes earlier and use that time to center yourself. Do not underestimate the power of the small, because the small, done daily, becomes great. Remember this truth. Discipline is the root, habits are the branches, and destiny is the fruit. What you practice every day is who you are becoming. The question is not, what do I want? The real question is, what am I practicing? Because in the end, it is not motivation that shapes your life. It is not a single decision. It is not one moment of inspiration. It is the habits, the silent sculptors that build your destiny. The mind, the imagination, the habits. Three forces that, when separated, are powerful, but when united, they become unstoppable. The mind is awareness. It is the voice that observes, questions, and chooses. Imagination is vision. It is the power to see what does not yet exist and bring it into the light. Habits are action. They are the daily footsteps that transform thought into reality. On their own, each has limits. The mind, without imagination, becomes rigid, logical, and often trapped in fear. Imagination without habits becomes a fantasy and endless vision with no weight in the world. Habits, without the mind and imagination, become empty routines, cycles repeated without purpose. But when they work together, something extraordinary happens. The mind directs, imagination inspires. Habits create. Think of a builder. The mind is the blueprint, the imagination is the vision of the finished house, and the habits are the bricks laid down every day. Without the blueprint, there is confusion. Without the vision, there is no motivation. Without the bricks, there is no house. But together, they construct something lasting. This is the hidden truth of transformation. You cannot change your life with one of these alone. You need all three. The mind must wake up and choose new thoughts. Imagination must light the path with a clear vision. Habits must walk that path step by step until the vision becomes flesh. So ask yourself, what is my mind feeding on daily? Ask yourself, what is my imagination daring to see? And then ask yourself, what habits am I practicing to bring it to life? When your thoughts, your vision, and your actions align, life cannot resist you. The person you dream of becoming is not far away, is already being shaped every single day by this trinity within you. Never underestimate this power. The mind gives you choice, imagination gives you direction, and habits give you results. Together, they are not three separate things. They are one single force. A force that sculpts destiny. At the heart of every transformation lies one question. Who is in control? Is it your thoughts controlling you? Your habits leading you? Your fears whispering louder than your dreams? Or is it you, the conscious self holding the reins, guiding the mind, directing the imagination, and shaping the habits? Self-mastery does not mean perfection. It does not mean you never feel fear, or never struggle with discipline, or never fall into old patterns. Self-mastery means awareness. It means that when the storm comes, you do not run, you hold your ground. It means that when a negative thought appears, you recognize it before it grows roots. It means that when a habit tries to pull you back into weakness, you rise and choose differently. You're not your thoughts. You are the one who observes them. You are not your emotions. You are the one who feels them, but does not drown in them. You are not your habits. You are the one who has the power to create new ones. Imagine yourself as the leader of an inner kingdom. The mind is your advisor. Imagination is your visionary. Habits are your workers. But without leadership, the kingdom falls into chaos. With leadership clear, firm, steady, the kingdom thrives. Self-mastery begins in small moments. The moment you pause before reacting. The moment you choose discipline over distraction. The moment you remind yourself, I am the one in charge here. These small victories build strength, and strength builds freedom. The truth is simple. If you do not master yourself, the world will master you. Your fears will master you. Your distractions will master you. Your old habits will chain you. But the moment you rise and claim mastery, everything begins to shift. And remember, self-mastery is not a final destination. It is a daily practice. Every morning you wake up and declare, today I choose to lead myself. And as the days gather into weeks, and the weeks into months, you realize you have become someone new, not because the world changed, but because you mastered the world within you. This is the essence of power. Not controlling others, not controlling the future, but controlling the only thing you ever truly own. Yourself. Focus is the light that guides you through the darkness. Discipline. It's the force that moves you forward even when you lack motivation, even when the world around you is chaotic. When you combine focus with discipline, you gain the power to master your mind. Direct your imagination and build the habits that shape your life. Without these tools, even the greatest ideas, even the deepest visions, remain weightless dreams. Focus is not just paying attention for a moment. It is the ability to deliberately choose where your mental energy goes and what you give your attention to, without letting it scatter into chaos. Every day, your brain is bombarded with hundreds, even thousands of thoughts, distractions, and temptations. If you do not control your focus, you become a prisoner of distraction. Discipline is the engine that turns intention into action. It is what allows you to keep moving toward your goals when enthusiasm fades, when the easy path tempts you, when the old habits tug at your willpower. Discipline is silent, patient, and relentless. It does not scream for recognition. It quietly builds a life that others often envy. Focus and discipline are not separate skills. They are partners. Focus directs the mind, imagination, and actions. Discipline ensures that direction is maintained over time. Together, they create momentum. Together, they turn vision into reality. The people who achieve greatness are not necessarily the most talented or the most inspired. They are the ones who focus on what matters most and discipline themselves to act on it every day. They understand that success is not a single moment of brilliance, but the result of consistent choices, repeated with focus and fortified by discipline. Ask yourself, where is your attention going today? How are you practicing discipline in your daily actions? The answers define not just your day, but your life, because mastery over the self begins with mastery over your focus. And without discipline, focus is fragile and fleeting. But when combined, they form an unshakable force. The true engine of transformation. Fear, a silent shadow that follows everyone, yet rarely acknowledged. Limiting beliefs, invisible walls built in the mind, convincing you that you cannot, that you are not enough, that the world is too big and you are too small. Most people spend their lives unconsciously obeying these invisible chains. Every hesitation, every "I can't," every moment of self-doubt is a brick in a wall that separates them from the life they desire. But here's the truth. These chains exist only in the mind. They are illusions, habits of thought that can be unlearned. Imagine your mind as a garden. Fear and limiting beliefs are weeds, growing silently if left unchecked. They drain energy, obscure clarity, and prevent new ideas from flourishing. But awareness is the first act of courage. The moment you recognize a fear or limiting belief, you illuminate it with understanding and it begins to lose its power. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is a messenger, signals where growth is possible. Limiting beliefs are not facts. They are assumptions repeated until they feel true. Once you challenge them, once you confront them with intention, you begin to see the world as it is, not as your fears made it appear. The mind has a remarkable ability to adapt. When you feed it courage, when you repeat empowering beliefs, when you act despite fear, the brain rewires itself. Once felt impossible becomes possible. What once held you back becomes a stepping stone. Remember this. Fear does not disappear overnight, and limiting beliefs do not vanish with a single thought. But every step you take toward them, every choice to act despite them, chips away at the wall until it crumbles, and on the other side lies the life you were always capable of living. The chains were never real. You always held the key. Courage, awareness, and consistent action unlock the doors. And once you step through, you realize something profound. You were never weak, you were just unaware of your own power. The mind is a battlefield. Every day. Thoughts clashes, some lift you, others drag you down. Without awareness, the negative ones gain the upper hand, shaping your reality without your consent. But you are not a passive observer. You are the commander of your inner world. Positive thought patterns are not mere or fleeting affirmations. They are deliberate mental habits that shape perception, emotion, and action. Every time you consciously replace doubt with belief, fear with courage, or distraction with focus, you are rewiring your brain. You are planting seeds of strength that will grow into unstoppable resilience. Resilience is not born from ease. It is forged in challenges. It is the ability to bend without breaking, to stand firm when everything shakes, to act when the mind whispers, "Give up." The strongest minds are not those that avoid struggle, but those that rise each time struggle appears. Your imagination and habits become allies in this process. When you visualize success, you are training your brain to recognize possibility. When you act consistently, you are proving to yourself that you can endure, adapt, and thrive. Thoughts become habits, habits become character, and character becomes destiny. Every day, you have the choice. To let your mind be a field of weeds, where fear and doubt grow unchecked, or to make it a garden meticulously tended, where positivity, focus, and resilience flourish. The transformation is gradual, silent, profound. No one sees the hours you spend thinking differently, practicing resilience, or training your mind. But slowly, inevitably, your inner strength begins to reflect in your life. Opportunities you once feared begin to appear. Challenges you once avoided become stepping stones. You realize that your mind is not your enemy, it is the most powerful ally you will ever have. If you choose to train it, feed it, and protect it. Remember, resilience is built not by avoiding storms, but by learning to dance in the rain. Positive thought patterns are not accidental. They are the foundation of an unshakable life. And once your mind aligns with courage, clarity, and discipline, nothing can stop the momentum you have created. Imagination is a spark. Vision is a blueprint. But action. Action is the bridge that transforms what exists only in your mind into something tangible in the world. Many people have incredible ideas, vivid dreams, and powerful visions, yet they remain trapped in thought. They imagine, they hope, they plan, but they do not act. And without action, imagination remains a ghost, a fleeting shadow that never touches reality. The moment you act, the invisible begins to materialize. A single step, repeated with consistency, sets motion into the world. Action gives your thoughts weight. Action tests your ideas. Action transforms fear into experience, doubt into evidence, and dreams into milestones. Your imagination is unlimited. It sees possibilities beyond current limitations. Your habits are the engine that reinforces your direction, and action is the fuel that connects the two. Without action, imagination is wasted energy. Without imagination, action is blind. Without habits, both falter. Every time you move despite fear, every time you execute a plan instead of procrastinating, you are building proof for your mind, strengthening your habits, and giving life to your vision. Success does not arrive because you imagined it arrives because you imagined, planned, and then acted, step by step, until the world bends to your persistence. Remember this: visions remain invisible until you carry them through the doorway of action. The mind dreams, imagination shapes, and habits prepared, but it is action that completes the cycle. The invisible becomes visible not by waiting, but by doing. So today, take one deliberate step toward what you have imagined. One action repeated consistently has the power to transform months of doubt into years of accomplishment. Because imagination is the map, action is the journey, and habits are the rhythm that ensures you reach your destination. The world does not reward the dreamers who wait. It rewards the dreamers who act. And every transformation begins at the intersection of thought, vision, and motion. You have learned the power of the mind, the force of imagination, and the discipline of habits. You have discovered self-mastery, focus, resilience, and the courage to act. But now comes the most important step: sustaining growth. Growth is not a moment, it is a continuous journey. It is easy to feel motivated today and forget tomorrow. It is easy to imagine vividly and then let old routines take over. It is easy to build momentum only to lose it in the noise of distraction. The true mastery lies in alignment, keeping your mind aware, your imagination inspired, and your habits consistent, day after day. Alignment is not perfection, it is consistency. It is waking up each morning and choosing awareness over autopilot. It is feeding your imagination with clarity and vision, not chaos and doubt. It is committing to the habits that strengthen you, even when motivation fades, even when life becomes difficult. Imagine the three forces as a triangle: the mind at the top, imagination at one corner, habits at the other. When each point is strong, the triangle is unshakable. When one wavers, the structure becomes unstable. Sustaining growth means nurturing each point daily, patiently, deliberately. Life will challenge you. Distractions will appear. Fear will knock. Old habits will tempt. But the person who has learned to align mind, imagination, and habits will rise every time. They understand that transformation is not a destination but a practice, commitment to keep shaping themselves, moment by moment, choice by choice. Remember this: your inner world determines your outer world. When you maintain alignment, you create a life where thought, vision, and action move together in harmony. You become unstoppable, not because circumstances are easy, but because your inner forces are strong, consistent, and united. So continue to feed your mind with awareness. Continue to nurture your imagination with vision. Continue to strengthen your habits with discipline. And as you do, you will realize something extraordinary. Your life becomes a reflection of the alignment you cultivate within yourself. The journey does not end here. But with these forces aligned, every step forward is deliberate, every action meaningful, and every day, a building block of a life fully transformed the mind. Imagination and habits shape your life, but emotions color it. They can lift you to heights of joy and creativity, or pull you into valleys of fear, anger, and doubt. Mastery of the self is incomplete without understanding and directing your emotions. Emotions are not enemies. They are signals, messengers of what matters to you most. Anger may reveal boundaries crossed. Fear may point to unseen risks. Sadness may highlight loss or unmet needs. The problem is not feeling. They are natural, but letting them control your thoughts, imagination, and actions. Inner balance is the ability to feel deeply without being swept away. It is the practice of observing emotions, naming them, and responding consciously rather than reacting impulsively. Every time you pause before responding in frustration, every time you breathe through fear instead of running, you build emotional resilience. Your imagination can be guided by emotion, but only when you are aware. When you dream or visualize, emotions amplify the impact. Passion makes your vision vivid. Excitement fuels action. But unchecked emotions can distort vision, exaggerate fear, and sabotage habits. Habits also serve as anchors. Daily rituals of reflection, meditation, journaling, or mindful movement train the mind to respond rather than react. Over time, emotions become tools instead of obstacles. You gain clarity, steadiness, and the ability to act with purpose even when life feels chaotic. Mastery of emotions is not a final state. It is practice. It is the continual effort to observe, understand, and integrate feelings into conscious action. When mind, imagination, habits, and emotions are aligned, you move through life with grace, strength, and unshakable balance. Remember, your emotions are powerful allies. Treat them with awareness, guide them with intention, anchor them with habit, and they will transform from turbulent waves into a steady current that carries you toward your highest potential. Motivation is fleeting. It comes in waves, sometimes strong, sometimes barely noticeable. Many people wait for motivation to arrive before taking action, not realizing that the real power lies in sustaining momentum, even when motivation wanes. Momentum is created by small, consistent actions. Every step you take toward your goals when enthusiasm is low, enforces your habits, strengthens your mind, and brings your imagination closer to reality. Motivation alone may spark the fire, but momentum keeps it burning. Think of it like a wheel. Motivation is the initial push that sets it in motion. Momentum is the spinning force that carries it forward. Once momentum builds, it requires less effort to continue moving, and the path ahead begins to feel natural rather than forced. Sustaining motivation also requires awareness. You must recognize what fuels your drive and what drains it. Surround yourself with inspiration. Align your daily routines with your long-term vision. Continuously remind yourself why the journey matters. Each small victory, each completed task, adds fuel to the engine of progress. Your imagination, mind, and habits work together to maintain this momentum. Imagination reminds you of the vision, the mind directs your focus, and habits automate the steps needed to move forward. When aligned, they create a rhythm that propels you steadily toward your goals, even through challenges and setbacks. Remember this: motivation is not waiting to feel ready. Momentum is building readiness through action. Every day you act even slightly, you compound progress. So over time, these compounded steps create exponential growth. The person you are becoming is not defined by fleeting feelings, but by consistent movement toward your vision. Sustain your momentum, feed it with clarity, action, and purpose. Protect it from distractions, doubt, and delay. You will discover that what once seemed impossible is now unfolding before your eyes, one deliberate, aligned step at a time. Procrastination is the silent thief of dreams. It hides in small excuses, delayed decisions, and the endless "I'll do it later." Every moment spent waiting is energy wasted, a step away from the life you are capable of creating. The antidote is discipline. Discipline is not punishment, it is freedom. It is the ability to act consistently, even when motivation is low, even when the task feels uncomfortable. It is what bridges the gap between knowing what must be done and actually doing it. To overcome procrastination, awareness is the first step. Notice the moments when you hesitate, when fear or doubt whispers, "Not now, later, maybe." Acknowledge it without judgment, then choose action. Even a single step forward breaks the pattern of delay and builds momentum. Habits are your allies in this battle. Daily routines, structured time, and repeated actions create a framework where procrastination loses power. Your mind begins to expect action, and hesitation becomes harder to sustain. The smallest action done repeatedly compounds into extraordinary results. Imagination also plays a role. Visualize not just the task, but the sense of accomplishment that follows. Feel it in your mind and body. When desire for the result becomes stronger than the resistance to starting, procrastination fades naturally. Discipline, focus, and consistent action are inseparable. They create a cycle. Act despite delay, reinforce the habit, experience progress, and fuel motivation for the next step. Procrastination cannot survive in a mind trained to move, a body trained to act, and a vision vivid enough to demand realization. Remember, waiting for the perfect moment is an illusion. Action is the perfect moment. The time is now. Every choice to begin, however small, strengthens your self-mastery, aligns your imagination, and fortifies your habits. Overcoming procrastination is not a one-time victory. It is a daily practice, a commitment to move even when resistance arises. And as you practice this consistently, you will discover something remarkable. Starting becomes natural, progress becomes inevitable, and the life you imagined begins to emerge step by deliberate step. Focus is the invisible muscle of achievement. It allows you to channel your energy, attention, and intention toward what truly matters. Without focus, even the brightest ideas, strongest habits, and clearest visions are scattered, diluted, and eventually lost in noise. Distractions are everywhere: digital, mental, emotional, and environmental. They tug at your attention, fragment your mind, and drain the energy needed to act. The world is designed to pull you away from your priorities, but mastery begins with learning to redirect your attention deliberately every single day. Strengthening focus requires awareness. Notice when your mind wanders. Recognize the triggers: boredom, fear, uncertainty, or endless scrolling. Then gently, without judgment, bring your attention back to the task at hand. Each time you do this, you train your brain to resist distraction and deepen concentration. Discipline is the backbone of focus. Habits such as time blocking, structured routines, and intentional pauses between tasks create an environment where focus thrives. Imagination becomes sharper because the mind is not scattered, can see clearly the path from thought to action. Focus is not about eliminating everything enjoyable. It is about prioritizing what aligns with your vision. When you protect your attention as a valuable resource, your actions gain precision, your progress accelerates, and your sense of control strengthens. Remember, every moment spent distracted is a moment lost in the currency of life. Each deliberate act of attention compounds, building mental clarity, habit strength, and forward momentum. Focus is not a talent, it is a practice. It grows stronger each time you choose it, each time you resist the pull of noise, and each time you align your energy with purpose. When distractions are mastered, focus becomes effortless, vision turns into action, habits solidify, and your mind, imagination, and energy flow in harmony toward the life you are creating. Consistency is the quiet architect of extraordinary lives. While motivation sparks action and inspiration fuels vision, it is consistency that transforms fleeting effort into lasting results. It is the repeated daily choices, the small steps you take, even when you do not feel like it, that compound into remarkable growth over time. Many people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can accomplish in a year. The key to long-term growth is not intensity for a moment, but persistent action over time. Every habit, every focus session, every act of discipline builds upon the last, creating a chain reaction that shapes your reality. Consistency is not about perfection, it is about commitment. You will stumble, you will face resistance, and some days will feel unproductive. But each time you return to your path, you reinforce the strength of your habits, deepen your focus, and strengthen the connection between imagination and action. Your mind thrives on repetition. When you consistently align your thoughts with your goals, your imagination with your vision, and your habits with your actions, you create a feedback loop of progress. This loop becomes self-sustaining, momentum builds, and growth becomes inevitable. Long-term growth requires patience as well. You may not see immediate results, and the world may seem slow to respond. But the person who masters consistency understands that change is silent and cumulative. Every small effort matters. Every choice compounds. Every step, no matter how tiny, moves you closer to the life you are creating. Remember, greatness is not born in sudden bursts. It is forged in repetition, reinforced by discipline, and sustained through consistency. Build your habits, strengthen your focus, honor your vision, and commit to the long path. In time, your life will reflect the cumulative power of your choices. And you will realize that consistency is not just a tool, it is the essence of transformation itself. Growth without reflection is like a river without direction. It flows, but it may never reach its destination. To truly master your mind, imagination, and habits, you must pause, look inward, and examine the path you are traveling. Reflection is the mirror of self-awareness. It allows you to see patterns, recognize progress, and identify what no longer serves you. Without it, habits can become automatic. Without purpose, focus can wander, and even your imagination can drift aimlessly. Self-evaluation is the compass that guides your actions. By asking honest questions: what worked? What can I improve? Where did I resist growth? You gain clarity and direction. You transform mistakes into lessons, setbacks into feedback, and challenges into opportunities to refine your strategies. The mind thrives when it learns from experience. Imagination gains clarity when guided by insight. Habits become meaningful when aligned with conscious purpose. Reflection ties all these forces together, creating a feedback loop that strengthens mastery, reinforces discipline, and sharpens vision. Take time each day, or at least each week, to step back. Journal your thoughts, review your actions, and measure your progress. Celebrate victories no matter how small, and confront patterns that limit your growth. This is not self-criticism, it is intentional guidance toward your highest potential. Remember, transformation is a journey, not a destination. Reflection turns the journey into a conscious process. Without it, progress may be slow, uncertain, or even reversed. With it, you gain insight, alignment, and control. You move deliberately, not by chance, and each choice becomes a building block toward the life you are creating. Reflection and self-evaluation are not luxuries. They are necessities. They are the tools that refine your inner world, sharpen your habits, and illuminate the path from imagination to reality. When practiced consistently, they ensure that your growth is not only continuous, but conscious, deliberate. An unstoppable focus is not just a skill, it is a state of being. To sustain attention, to act deliberately, and to harness the full power of your mind, you must cultivate mindfulness and mental clarity. Mindfulness is the practice of presence. It is the art of observing your thoughts, emotions, and sensations without judgment, without distraction, without getting pulled into the noise. When you are mindful, you are fully alive in the moment, fully aware of your actions, and fully capable of directing your energy where it matters most. Mental clarity is the result of conscious attention and deliberate choice. It comes when you quiet unnecessary thoughts, organize your priorities, and simplify your focus. Clarity allows you to see the path ahead, distinguish essential from trivial, and act with precision and confidence. Together, mindfulness and clarity form the foundation of deep focus. They train the mind to resist the pull of distraction, to respond rather than react, and to engage fully in whatever task or vision you pursue. Without them, your energy is scattered, your imagination fragmented, and your habits weakened. Practical mindfulness can be cultivated in small moments. A deep breath before starting a task, a pause to notice the present, or a conscious choice to return attention when the mind drifts. Each moment strengthens focus, sharpens awareness, and enhances self-mastery. Remember, focus is not merely about resisting distraction. It is about directing your mind with intention. It is the bridge between imagination and action, the glue that binds habits to vision, and the pathway to extraordinary achievement. By practicing mindfulness and seeking clarity every day, you train your inner world to support your outer goals. You become more present, more deliberate, and more capable of transforming thought into reality. And so, the journey of mastering focus is not a one-time effort. It is a daily commitment. The mind that is clear, the mind that is mindful, is a mind that is free, powerful, and unstoppable. Life is full of challenges. Obstacles appear unexpectedly, plans falter, and circumstances often push us to the edge of our comfort. Yet within every challenge lies an opportunity, a chance to grow, to adapt, and to strengthen the mind, imagination, and habits that shape our reality. Mental resilience is the ability to face adversity without surrendering to fear, frustration, or despair. It is the skill of bending without breaking, of responding to setbacks with intention, and of transforming obstacles into stepping stones. Resilience is not about avoiding pain or difficulty. It is about choosing how you respond to them. Each challenge is a mirror, reflecting areas where growth is possible. When faced with difficulty, you can either resist and crumble, or observe, adapt, and act with wisdom. Your imagination fuels resilience by helping you envision the outcome beyond the obstacle. Your mind directs strategy and discernment. Your habits create the consistency to persevere even when motivation fades. Together, they transform trials into opportunities for mastery. Every challenge carries a lesson. Every setback carries insight. Every failure carries the seeds of success. The resilient mind does not dwell on what went wrong. It learns, adjusts, and moves forward with renewed clarity and purpose. Remember, adversity is not a punishment, it is a teacher. Resistance is not a barrier. It is a test of alignment between your vision, focus, and habits. When you cultivate resilience, you turn disruption into growth, fear into action, and uncertainty into opportunity. Through mental resilience, challenges stop being obstacles, they become catalysts. They accelerate your journey, refine your habits, sharpen your focus, and deepen your understanding of your own mind and imagination. The secret is simple. Your life is not defined by what happens to you, but by how you respond. With resilience, every challenge becomes a stepping stone toward the life you are meant to create. Creativity is not a gift reserved for the few, it is a skill cultivated through alignment of mind, imagination, and habits. It flourishes when focus channels thought, when imagination envisions possibilities, and when discipline transforms ideas into reality. Many believe creativity is spontaneous, a sudden spark that strikes without warning. While inspiration may appear unexpectedly, true creativity is built in the deliberate practice of thought and action. Focus provides clarity, it allows you to explore deeply without distraction. Imagination provides vision, it allows you to see beyond current limitations and explore new possibilities. Discipline provides structure, it ensures that ideas are nurtured, tested, and brought into form. Every creative act is an intersection of these three forces. A mind trained in focus resists the chaos of scattered ideas. Imagination that is nurtured can explore the vast potential of what could be. Habits, repeated consistently, turn fleeting visions into tangible outcomes, paintings, inventions, projects, or solutions that impact the world. To enhance creativity, you must practice intentional thinking. Set aside time to explore, to imagine, to write, or to design. Protect that time from distraction. Feed your mind with knowledge and curiosity. Challenge assumptions. And above all, act. Without action, imagination remains untested, and focus without creation is wasted energy. Remember, creativity is not random. It is cultivated. It is the product of focus, disciplined practice, and the courage to explore what the mind and imagination conceive. The more you exercise these forces together, the more effortlessly ideas emerge, evolve, and manifest. The creative mind is powerful. It solves problems, innovates, and brings beauty into the world. And when combined with discipline and focus, it does not just create, it transforms lives. Including your own vision is the compass of life. It is the mental image of who you want to become, what you want to achieve, and how you wish to live. Without vision, actions are scattered, decisions are uncertain, and even focus and discipline can lose their direction. A clear vision aligns the mind, imagination, and habits. The mind knows what to prioritize, the imagination visualizes the possibilities, and habits move you steadily toward the desired outcome. Together, they form a roadmap for consistent growth and purposeful living. Vision is not just about distant goals, it is about clarity in every choice you make. When faced with decisions, your vision acts as a filter. Does this choice move me closer to what I envision? Does it strengthen the habits that build my future? Does it preserve the focus and energy I need to achieve my dreams? The answers guide action and prevent distraction. Living with vision requires reflection and awareness. It demands that you regularly check in with your goals, assess alignment, and adjust when necessary. A strong vision is flexible, it evolves as you grow, but its core provides stability, direction, and meaning. Every habit you form, every thought you cultivate, every action you take should echo your vision. When life presents challenges, a compelling vision is the anchor that keeps you grounded. It's the motivation that pushes you forward, and the lens through which you see opportunities instead of obstacles. Remember, vision is the seed from which all achievement grows. Without it, effort is scattered. With it, every choice, every step, and every action becomes purposeful. Your life transforms from a series of random events into a coherent, meaningful journey guided by clarity, imagination, and intention. Harness your vision. Let it illuminate your path, direct your mind, and inspire your imagination. When vision leads, action follows, habits align, and transformation becomes inevitable. A vision without daily action is like a ship without sails. It drifts aimlessly. True transformation comes not just from imagining your ideal life, but from consistently aligning every decision, habit, and action with that vision. Daily actions are the building blocks of your future. Each choice, no matter how small, either strengthens your path or diverts you from it. When your actions are intentionally aligned with your long-term vision, progress becomes inevitable. Momentum builds, habits reinforce each other, and your imagination gains clarity through tangible results. Start with awareness each morning. Ask yourself, what one action today will move me closer to my vision? Focus on what matters most, not on what feels urgent or easy. Discipline is essential. Here it bridges the gap between intention and execution. Motivation alone is unreliable, but a disciplined approach ensures consistent progress. Reflection at the end of each day strengthens alignment. Celebrate victories, analyze deviations, and refine your approach. This continuous feedback loop keeps your vision alive in the present moment, preventing distraction from trivial tasks or fleeting desires. Remember, the gap between who you are and who you want to become is crossed one deliberate action at a time. Imagination creates the roadmap, vision provides direction, and daily actions move you forward step by step. When mind, imagination, and habits work in harmony, your life becomes a reflection of your vision, not a product of circumstance. Alignment is a practice, not a perfect state. There will be setbacks, distractions, and moments of doubt. But the person who commits daily to intentional action ensures that each day, no matter how small, contributes to the extraordinary life they are creating. Act with purpose. Choose deliberately. Align consistently. And watch as your long-term vision transforms from an idea in your mind to reality in your life. Self-doubt is a quiet saboteur. It whispers, "You are not enough. You can't do this, and maybe you'll fail." These thoughts can paralyze the mind, weaken habits, and distort the imagination, preventing action before it even begins. Confidence is the antidote, but it is not a feeling that magically appears. It is a skill cultivated through consistent practice, reflection, and deliberate action. Confidence grows when you confront self-doubt, challenge limiting beliefs, and prove to yourself that you are capable. Start by observing your self-doubt without judgment. Notice when it arises, what triggers it, and how it affects your decisions. Awareness is the first step toward transformation. Once you see self-doubt clearly, you can respond intentionally rather than react impulsively. Action strengthens confidence. Every small step you take despite doubt is a declaration to your mind and imagination. I am capable. I am persistent. I am worthy. Repeated action reinforces habits, rewires mental patterns, and builds momentum toward mastery. Imagination also plays a role. Visualize yourself succeeding, overcoming obstacles, and acting with certainty. Feel it deeply. The brain cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined success and real experience. This mental rehearsal strengthens your confidence before action occurs. Remember, confidence is not absence of fear or doubt, it is action despite them. The strongest people are not those without uncertainty, they're those who consistently act, think, and imagine beyond it. Overcoming self-doubt requires patience, reflection, and discipline. Strengthening confidence demands courage, repetition, and alignment of mind, imagination, and habits. Together, they transform hesitation into decisive action, fear into opportunity, and potential into reality. When you commit to this practice, self-doubt loses its grip, and confidence becomes the engine that drives your vision. Your creativity and your life-forward emotional intelligence is the hidden force behind success. Creativity and meaningful relationships. It is the ability to understand, manage, and channel your emotions, as well as to perceive and respond effectively to the emotions of others. A mind that masters focus and habits is powerful, but without emotional awareness, it can become rigid, reactive, or disconnected. A vivid imagination is inspiring, but without emotional intelligence, it can be misunderstood or misapplied. True mastery integrates all three: mind, imagination, and emotion. Start with self-awareness. Notice how emotions influence your thoughts, choices, and actions. Anger, frustration, excitement, or fear all carry information. Recognizing them without judgment is the first step toward mastery. Self-regulation comes next. When you encounter strong emotions, respond intentionally rather than react impulsively. Pause, breathe, consider your vision and long-term goals. Habits of mindfulness, reflection, and disciplined action support this process, transforming emotional impulses into deliberate choices. Empathy expands your intelligence outward. Understanding others' perspectives allows your imagination to create solutions, strengthen relationships, and navigate social complexities with grace. When combined with focus, empathy ensures your actions are both effective and aligned with your values. Remember, emotional intelligence is not enacted as practiced. Each decision you make while aware of your emotions strengthens your resilience, clarity, and influence. Each relationship nurtured with understanding enhances connection and mutual growth. By cultivating emotional intelligence, you align your mind, imagination, and habits with the subtler currents of life. Decisions become clearer, actions become wiser, and interactions become more meaningful. Emotional mastery is the bridge between internal growth and external impact, enabling you to thrive in every dimension of life. Visualization is not fantasy, it is a deliberate act of the mind that bridges imagination and action. When you vividly imagine a goal, a skill, or a desired outcome, you prepare your mind, body, and habits to achieve it. The brain does not fully distinguish between real experience and a deeply imagined one. By visualizing success, you train neural pathways, build confidence, and create mental clarity about the steps necessary to reach your goals. Imagination becomes a rehearsal for reality. Effective visualization engages all senses. See yourself achieving the goal. Hear the sounds, feel the emotions, sense the environment. The more real it feels, the stronger the impact on your mind and habits. Action then becomes natural, aligned, and intentional. Habits amplify the effect. When visualization is paired with consistent effort, focus, and disciplined routines, the imagined outcome starts manifesting in the physical world. Mind, imagination, and habits work as a unified force. Remember, visualization is not a substitute for action, it is a catalyst. It transforms abstract ideas into concrete plans, motivates perseverance, and aligns your energy toward your vision. Repetition strengthens neural pathways, solidifying confidence and readiness. Through daily practice of visualization, you train your mind to anticipate success, your imagination to explore possibilities, and your habits to execute the necessary steps. In this synergy, the life you envision becomes the life you live. The mind that sees, the imagination that feels, and the habits that act together create reality. Visualization is the key to unlock that potential, turning dreams into achievable milestones and ideas into tangible results. Habits are powerful, but their true potential multiplies when combined strategically. Habit stacking is the practice of linking small positive actions together so that each reinforces the next, creating momentum that propels growth and productivity exponentially. Imagine habits as bricks. One brick alone is useful, but a wall built brick by brick is strong, lasting, and transformative. Habit stacking allows you to construct this wall intentionally, aligning every action with your vision and goals. Start with simple, consistent habits. Then, identify natural triggers, existing routines, where a new habit can attach seamlessly. For example, if you meditate every morning, follow it with journaling. If you review tasks at night, follow it with visualization of tomorrow's goals. Each stack strengthens the previous habit and reinforces your mental, emotional, and productive alignment. Consistency is key. Each repeated action strengthens neural pathways in your brain, automating behaviors that once required effort. Over time, the momentum created by habit stacks reduces reliance on willpower and motivation, making growth a natural byproduct of your daily routines. Remember, habit stacking is not about overwhelming yourself with complexity. It is about connecting small, deliberate actions into a chain that multiplies effectiveness. Mind, imagination, and action align effortlessly, creating clarity, focus, and tangible progress. Through this method, productivity is not just increased, it becomes multiplied, and personal growth accelerates naturally. Each stack forms a chain reaction. Small wins compound into major accomplishments. Small disciplines grow into mastery, and the life you envision begins to manifest with precision. Master habit stacking, and you master the art of consistent, deliberate growth. Understanding the science behind focus allows you to harness this state deliberately. The brain functions through networks of attention. Shallow focus jumps between tasks, notifications, and distractions. Deep focus, however, strengthens neural pathways, creating lasting cognitive capacity, improving memory, enhancing problem-solving abilities. The more you practice sustained attention, the more capable your mind becomes of tackling complex challenges. To train the brain for deep work, start by eliminating distractions. Create an environment conducive to concentration. Turn off notifications. Set clear boundaries, and schedule uninterrupted periods. Use rituals to signal the brain that focus is required, such as specific workspace preparation or a short pre-work meditation. Habits support deep work by automating preparation, minimizing decision fatigue, and reinforcing discipline. Imagination contributes by allowing you to visualize the task, anticipate challenges, and engage creatively. Together, mind, imagination, and habits produce flow state, where time dissolves, and the work itself becomes effortless. Remember, focus is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Short periods of intentional practice, repeated consistently, expand your capacity for attention, clarity, and insight. Over time, distractions lose power, and deep work becomes your default mode rather than an exception. By mastering focus, you multiply the effectiveness of every habit, amplify the clarity of every vision, and turn imagination into precise action. The science of focus is not a theory, it is the pathway to mastering your mind and shaping a life of purpose. Creativity and extraordinary achievement. Knowledge alone is not power, it is potential. True transformation arises when knowledge is applied, when ideas are executed, and when learning translates into deliberate action. Many accumulate information endlessly, yet few turn it into tangible progress. The mind thrives on clarity, but without action, it stagnates. Imagination inspires, but without implementation, it remains a dream. Habits sustain action, but without knowledge, they lack direction. The bridge between these forces is deliberate application, turning what you know into what you do. Start by identifying key insights that align with your vision. What knowledge will directly move you closer to your goals? Focus on actionable steps rather than abstract theory. Then design small experiments. Try, test, fail, refine. Action transforms theory into skill, abstract ideas into concrete outcomes. Consistency is critical. Daily practice ensures that knowledge compounds. Habits reinforce the learning. Imagination visualizes the application, and the mind monitors progress. With each cycle, understanding deepens, confidence grows, and mastery becomes inevitable. Remember, learning without action is wasted energy. Action without knowledge risks inefficiency. Alignment of mind, imagination, and habits transforms knowledge into real-world impact. Every idea you implement strengthens your skills, shapes your reality, and accelerates growth. By committing to act on what you learn, you transform potential into achievement. The bridge between knowing and doing is not a single leap. It is built step by step, decision by decision, habit by habit. And once crossed, the life you envisioned begins to manifest, fueled by the power of applied knowledge. Resilience is forged in the fire of challenge. Mind grows not only through comfort and success, but through deliberate encounters with difficulty, uncertainty, and discomfort. Each obstacle is an opportunity to strengthen mental fortitude, refine habits, and sharpen focus. To build resilience, you must embrace challenges consistently. Seek situations that stretch your capabilities, test your patience, and push the boundaries of your comfort. This deliberate practice trains the mind to adapt, recover, and thrive under pressure. Reflection amplifies growth. After each challenge, pause to examine what happened. What worked? What could be improved? How did your thoughts, imagination, and habits influence the outcome? Honest self-evaluation converts experiences into lessons, setbacks into strategies, and difficulties into opportunities. Habits play a crucial role. Daily routines of reflection, disciplined action, and focused effort create stability amidst unpredictability. They anchor the mind, enabling you to face adversity without losing clarity or purpose. Imagination, meanwhile, allows you to visualize solutions, anticipate obstacles, and prepare mentally for future challenges. Remember, resilience is not the absence of struggle, it is mastery over response. The resilient mind sees obstacles as teachers, setbacks as feedback, and pressure as fuel. Through consistent challenge and reflection, strength becomes habitual, focus becomes unshakable, and growth becomes inevitable. By training your mind in this way, you cultivate a life where uncertainty no longer paralyzes you. Challenges become opportunities to expand, reflection becomes a compass, and resilience becomes your default state of force that carries you steadily toward your vision. No matter what circumstances arise, true mastery comes from integration. The mind, imagination, and habits are most powerful not in isolation, but when woven seamlessly into daily life. A consistent routine becomes the foundation upon which vision, focus, and growth thrive. Start by structuring your day intentionally. Begin with practices that center the mind: meditation, journaling, or focused reflection. Engage imagination to visualize goals, rehearse challenges, and explore creative solutions. Then activate habits that reinforce progress exercise, learning, planning, or executing key tasks. The sequence matters. Mind sets clarity, imagination inspires direction, and habits create momentum. Together, they form a cycle of intentional living. Clarity leads to insight. Insight fuels action, and repeated action solidifies mastery. Each day becomes a microcosm of growth, each routine a building block for long-term success. Consistency is key. A daily routine ensures that even when motivation fluctuates, progress remains steady. Habits automate foundational tasks, freeing mental energy for focus and creative problem-solving. Imagination turns routine into purposeful exploration, and reflection ensures alignment with your long-term vision. Remember, success is not achieved through sporadic effort, but through deliberate integration. The mind, imagination, and habits must work in harmony, supporting each other through consistent daily practice. Small, repeated actions accumulate into remarkable transformation over time. By designing a routine that honors all three forces, you create a life where focus is sharp, creativity flows, and progress is inevitable. Daily integration transforms potential into mastery, vision into reality, and ordinary days into extraordinary life. Episode 30. The role of patience and timing in achieving mastery. Mastery is not instantaneous. It is the result of consistent effort, deliberate practice, and the subtle interplay of patience and timing. Those who rush, who seek shortcuts, or instant results, often overlook the deeper process where true growth takes root. Patience is not passive. It is active trust in the process. It is the ability to keep taking steps, refining habits, and nurturing your mind and imagination, even when results are not immediately visible. Every effort compounds quietly, building the foundation for breakthroughs that often arrive when least expected. Timing is equally essential. The right action at the wrong moment can be wasted effort. The right timing amplifies impact exponentially. Observing, listening, and aligning actions with circumstances, opportunities, and readiness ensures that your energy produces maximum effect. Habits and routines strengthen patience and timing. They create a rhythm where focus, imagination, and action intersect naturally. Over time, repeated, disciplined effort aligns with life's opportunities. It's producing results that feel effortless, yet are the product of unseen work. Remember, mastery unfolds in stages. Impatience leads to frustration, distraction, or shortcuts that undermine growth. Patience, combined with awareness of timing, turns each action into a meaningful contribution toward excellence. Your mind learns, your imagination envisions, and your habits carry you forward steadily. The journey toward mastery is a marathon, not a sprint. By cultivating patience, honoring timing, and consistently integrating mind, imagination, and habits, you create a life of deep skill, resilience, and extraordinary achievement. Every moment invested thoughtfully moves you closer to the person you are destined to become. Episode 31. The power of self-belief in sustaining growth and achievement. Self-belief is the fuel that keeps the engine of growth running. It is the quiet confidence that no matter the obstacles, you are capable of learning, adapting, and achieving your goals. Without belief in yourself, focus falters, imagination wavers, and habits lose their consistency. True self-belief is not arrogance. It is grounded awareness of your potential and the willingness to act despite fear, doubt, or uncertainty. It is built through repeated action, reflection, and the acknowledgement of progress, no matter how small. Each success, each lesson learned, reinforces the conviction that you are capable of more than you realize. Your imagination strengthens self-belief by allowing you to visualize your success vividly. Your mind strengthens it by organizing strategies, understanding limitations, and planning deliberate actions. Habits reinforce it by creating consistent evidence of your capability. Together, they form a cycle of confidence, action, and growth. Remember, self-belief is a choice. It requires actively rejecting the voices of doubt, ignoring the fear of failure, and embracing the power within you. It is not a fleeting emotion, but a cultivated mindset, strengthened each time you take purposeful action aligned with your vision. Sustained growth and achievement depend on this belief. It fuels perseverance when progress seems slow, inspires creativity when solutions are elusive, and anchors your mind, imagination, and habits in alignment. With self-belief, challenges transform into opportunities, obstacles become lessons, and potential evolves into reality. By nurturing self-belief daily, you ensure that your journey toward mastery is steady, resilient, and unstoppable. The life you imagine, the goals you set, the habits you cultivate all flourish when powered by unwavering belief in yourself. Next episode 32. Mastering time. How to prioritize and optimize everyday time is the most precious resource. Once a moment passes, it can never return. Mastery over life is deeply connected to mastery over time. How you prioritize, structure, and optimize each day determines the impact of your actions, the clarity of your mind, and the growth of your habits. Effective time management begins with focus. Identify what truly matters and dedicate uninterrupted attention to these priorities. Distractions, trivial tasks, and unaligned obligations dilute energy and scatter your imagination. Clarity about your vision allows you to allocate time where it produces the greatest results. Habits amplify time mastery. Daily routines, structured blocks of focused work, and consistent rituals reduce wasted energy and decision fatigue. By automating essential actions, you create space for imagination to explore, creativity to flourish, and strategic thinking to guide your progress. Prioritization is key.
Nice.
Distinguish between urgent and important, between activity and meaningful action. The most successful minds invest their time in tasks that align with long-term goals rather than reacting to external pressures or fleeting distractions. Remember, mastering time is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters most consistently. Mind, imagination, and habits converge when you structure your day intentionally. Your mind stays clear, your imagination stays focused on possibilities, and your habits create momentum that turns vision into reality. By respecting the value of each moment and applying deliberate structure, you transform every day into a building block for growth. Time becomes an ally, not an enemy. And every hour contributes meaningfully to the life you are creating. Episode 33. The Habit of Reflection. Reviewing progress to accelerate growth. Reflection is the compass of personal growth. Without it, habits, focus, and imagination operate blindly, often leading to wasted effort or stagnation. The habit of reflection transforms experience into insight, mistakes into lessons, and progress into purposeful advancement. Start by dedicating time regularly to review your actions, thoughts, and results. Ask yourself, what went well? What can be improved? How aligned am I with my vision? This practice sharpens awareness, strengthens decision-making, and clarifies the next steps. Mind, imagination, and habits are deeply enhanced through reflection. The mind gains insight from evaluating patterns and outcomes. Imagination becomes more precise when guided by lessons learned. Habits are reinforced, adjusted, or replaced to ensure alignment with your goals and vision. Reflection is not criticism, it is observation and understanding. It cultivates humility, patience, and self-awareness. It allows you to acknowledge achievements, learn from setbacks, course correct before small errors escalate into larger challenges. Remember, growth without reflection is slow and erratic. With reflection, every experience becomes fuel for progress. Each review strengthens mental clarity, empowers imagination, and reinforces disciplined habits. The habit of reflection ensures that time and effort are invested wisely, accelerating personal transformation. By integrating reflection into your routine, you create a feedback loop that constantly refines your focus, imagination, and habits. You move with intention, act with awareness, and evolve consistently toward the life you are building. Episode 34. The Art of Deliberate Practice. Turning Effort into Mastery. Mastery is not a product of talent alone. It is the result of deliberate, focused practice. Random effort produces scattered results, but intentional practice, guided by reflection and purpose, transforms skill into excellence. Deliberate practice begins with clarity. Identify the specific skill, habit, or aspect of your mind and imagination that you wish to improve. Break it into manageable components and focus on them with full attention. The mind thrives on targeted challenges, and progress accelerates when effort is directed strategically rather than diffusely. Feedback is essential. Observe results, adjust strategies, and refine techniques. The imagination can be engaged to visualize improvements and anticipate challenges, while disciplined habits sustain repetition and consistency. Each session becomes a stepping stone, reinforcing neural pathways and embedding mastery into your daily life. Remember, effort alone is not enough. Intensity without direction or repetition without awareness produces limited growth. Deliberate practice combines focus, reflection, imagination, and habit to create a cycle of continuous improvement, turning potential into achievement. Patience and persistence are critical. Mastery unfolds gradually, often silently, beneath the surface of repeated effort. Small improvements compound, and over time, what once seemed difficult or unattainable becomes natural, effortless, and precise. By embracing deliberate practice, you harness the full synergy of mind, imagination, and habits. Every effort becomes meaningful, every session propels growth, and each repetition moves you closer to mastery. This is the path where intention meets action, where skill transforms into lasting excellence. Episode 35. Overcoming mental blocks. Unlocking. Creativity and performance. Mental blocks are invisible barriers that limit focus, imagination, and habits. They appear as doubt, fear, indecision, or procrastination, quietly preventing your mind from reaching its full potential. To unlock true creativity and performance, you must identify and dismantle these obstacles. Start by observing the block without judgment. Notice the thoughts, emotions, or habits that trigger hesitation. Awareness is the first step to breaking patterns. When you see a block clearly, you gain the power to respond instead of being controlled by it. Imagination is a tool to overcome limitation. Visualize yourself moving past the block, performing the task effortlessly, and achieving the desired outcome. This mental rehearsal primes the brain for action, reduces anxiety, and strengthens confidence. Habits reinforce breakthrough. Consistent routines create momentum, making it easier to bypass mental resistance. Small, deliberate actions each day gradually erode fear and uncertainty, replacing them with capability and assurance. Remember, mental blocks are not permanent. They are signals. They highlight areas that require attention, adjustment, or deeper understanding. Facing them directly, with patience, reflection, and purposeful action, transforms resistance into growth. By integrating awareness, visualization, and disciplined action, you unlock your mind's potential. Creativity flows more freely, performance improves, and imagination can translate into reality with greater ease. Every block you overcome strengthens the connection between mind, imagination, and habits, propelling you toward mastery. Episode 36. The Role of Curiosity. Expanding imagination and learning. Curiosity is the spark that ignites the mind, stretches the imagination, and fuels lifelong learning. It drives exploration, questions, assumptions, and opens doors to new possibilities that would remain unseen in a passive or rigid mindset. A curious mind constantly seeks understanding. It notices patterns, asks why and what if, and connects seemingly unrelated ideas. Imagination thrives in this environment, generating insights and creative solutions that others might overlook. Curiosity transforms ordinary experiences into opportunities for growth and innovation. Habits of curiosity enhance learning. Daily inquiry, reflection, and experimentation strengthen neural pathways, expand knowledge, and reinforce disciplined thinking. By cultivating curiosity, you keep the mind active, the imagination agile, and your habits adaptive to new challenges and opportunities. Remember, curiosity is not just about acquiring information. It is about deep engagement, wonder, and openness to discovery. It fuels exploration without fear, inspires creative problem-solving, and strengthens the capacity to learn from every situation. When curiosity guides your actions, every moment becomes a chance to expand your imagination, refine your habits, and deepen your understanding of the world and yourself. A curious mind is a growing mind, a flexible imagination, and a disciplined life, all working together to unlock your highest potential. Episode 37. The Balance Between Imagination and Action. Achieving Effective Results. Imagination is the birthplace of ideas, innovation, and vision, but without action, it remains unrealized potential. Conversely, action without imagination can be mechanical, aimless, and inefficient. True effectiveness arises from a balance where imagination guides action and action manifests imagination. Start by envisioning the outcome you desire. Use your imagination to explore possibilities, anticipate challenges, and design solutions. Then, Translate these insights into concrete, deliberate steps. Each action is a bridge from thought to reality, reinforcing habits that support sustained progress. Reflection and adjustment are crucial. Imagination must be informed by results, and action must be flexible enough to respond to new insights. This interplay creates a cycle of continuous improvement. Imagine, act, evaluate, refine, and repeat. Habits serve as the backbone of this process. Consistent routines provide the structure needed to translate vision into measurable outcomes. Focused action ensures that imagination does not drift into idle daydreaming, while imaginative thinking prevents rigid, uncreative effort. Remember, balance is not static. It requires awareness, intentionality, and discipline. Imagination sparks creativity and direction. Action turns potential into reality. When aligned, they amplify each other, producing results far beyond what either could achieve alone. By mastering this balance, you ensure that your mind, imagination, and habits work in harmony. Your ideas become tangible achievements, your efforts become purposeful, and your life reflects the vision you have imagined. Episode 38. The influence of environment, shaping mind, imagination, and habits. The environment you live in profoundly affects your mind, your imagination, and the habits you cultivate. Surroundings, people, and energy patterns act as silent guides or obstacles, shaping the thoughts you think, the ideas you generate, and the routines you sustain. A supportive environment nurtures focus, sparks creativity, and reinforces productive habits. Spaces that are organized, stimulating, and aligned with your goals encourage clarity of mind. People who inspire, challenge, and support you expand imagination and foster growth. Energy flows where it is welcomed. Distraction, chaos, and negativity drain it. Habits adapt to environment. A cluttered or disorganized space often leads to scattered focus. In contrast, intentional surroundings create cues that trigger productive routines automatically. Imagination is energized when exposed to novelty, inspiration, and diverse perspectives, while stagnation stifles creativity. Remember, you cannot control every aspect of your environment, but you can curate key influences. Choose what you expose yourself to: books, people, media, and spaces, and let them reinforce your vision, habits, and creative potential. Small changes consistently applied produce profound effects over time. By consciously designing your environment, you protect focus, fuel imagination, and support habits that align with your long-term goals. The mind thrives, creativity flows, and disciplined routines become effortless when your surroundings are allies rather than obstacles. Your environment is not just a backdrop, it is a partner in your growth. Shape it wisely, and it will amplify every thought, every idea, and every action you take. Episode 39. The role of gratitude, enhancing mental clarity and imagination. Gratitude is more than a feeling. It is a practice that reshapes the mind, opens imagination, and strengthens habits. By consciously acknowledging the positive aspects of life, you shift focus from scarcity to abundance, from limitation to possibility. A mind rooted in gratitude experiences clarity. Worries and distractions lose their power when attention is intentionally directed toward what is already working, what has been achieved, and what can be appreciated. This clarity frees the imagination, allowing creativity to flourish without the weight of negativity or doubt. Habits of gratitude amplify growth. Daily reflection, journaling, or verbal acknowledgement of blessings reinforces positive neural pathways. Over time, gratitude becomes an automatic lens through which experiences are filtered, influencing thoughts, decisions, and actions consistently. Remember, gratitude is not passive. It is an active choice that enhances perception, strengthens emotional resilience, and fuels imaginative thinking. When the mind recognizes abundance, it generates ideas, solutions, and insights that would otherwise remain hidden. By practicing gratitude, you create a fertile environment for focus, imagination, and disciplined action. The mind becomes calm and clear, imagination expands freely, and habits align naturally with growth and purpose. Gratitude transforms ordinary routines into meaningful practices, turning daily life into a source of energy, insight, and creative power. When integrated into your daily life, gratitude is not just a practice, it is a catalyst for transformation. It's connecting mind, imagination, and habits in a harmonious cycle of growth and fulfillment. Episode 44. The role of mental models in enhancing. Thinking and decision-making the way you see the world determines the way you act in it. Mental models are the invisible maps that shape your understanding, decisions, and behavior. They are frameworks, patterns of thought that help you interpret reality and navigate complexity. When your mental models are limited, your perspective is narrow. You fall into repetitive mistakes, rigid thinking, and poor decisions. But when your mental models expand, you unlock new ways of seeing, thinking, and solving problems. The mind thrives on clarity. Mental models provide structure, helping you filter what matters from what doesn't. Imagination then refines these models, allowing you to test ideas, simulate outcomes, explore possibilities before acting in the real world. Habits integrate mental models into daily life. By consistently applying structured ways of thinking such as cause and effect reasoning, first principles, or opportunity cost analysis, you transform them from abstract knowledge into living wisdom. Each habit strengthens your capacity to think more clearly and decide more wisely. The key is not to cling to one model, but to build a toolbox of many. Life is too complex to be understood through a single lens. The more models you master, the more flexible and powerful your mind becomes. True growth is not only in learning facts, but in reshaping the very patterns through which you think. By sharpening your mental models, aligning them with imagination, and reinforcing them with habits, you create a mind that sees deeper, acts wiser. It leads with confidence. Episode 45. The subconscious mind. How habits shape our inner reality deep. Beneath the surface of your awareness lies a silent power, the subconscious mind. It is the vast storage of memories, emotions, patterns, and beliefs that quietly guide most of your daily actions. While the conscious mind chooses, the subconscious executes. It is the engine behind your automatic responses, your instincts, and most importantly, your habits. Every thought you repeat becomes a seed planted in the subconscious. Over time, it grows roots and solidifies into behavior. This is why habits are so powerful. They bypass the conscious effort and run on autopilot. Once installed, they become part of your inner reality. Imagination is the bridge to the subconscious. When you vividly visualize a new habit, a new identity, or a new way of living, your subconscious accepts it as real and begins to align your actions with that vision. This is why athletes rehearse their performance in their minds, and why people who imagine success often walk the path toward it. The subconscious does not distinguish between reality and imagination. It responds to repetition, emotion, and belief. This means you must guard it carefully. If you constantly feed it doubt, fear, and negative patterns, those will shape your inner reality. But if you consistently nurture it with empowering habits, disciplined thoughts, and uplifting images, it will work tirelessly to create that reality for you. Your subconscious is not your enemy. It is your most loyal servant. Train it wisely through deliberate habits. Feed it visions that uplift your spirit. Strengthen it with rituals that align with your values. Over time, it will become the silent architect of a reality you once only dreamed of. Episode 46. The feedback loop between mindset and habits. Your mindset and your habits are not separate. They are two forces constantly feeding one another. Mindset creates habits, and habits reinforce mindset. This loop is either your greatest weapon or your greatest trap. When you carry a mindset of growth, believing that you can learn, improve, and transform, your habits naturally reflect that belief. You choose actions that align with progress. Studying daily, exercising, journaling, practicing discipline. Each of those habits, in turn, reinforces your growth mindset. You begin to see results, and results strengthen your belief in what is possible. But the opposite is equally true. Limiting mindset, one filled with doubt, fear, or resignation, breeds habits of procrastination, avoidance, and self-sabotage. Each weak habit confirms the belief that you are not capable, not strong enough, not worthy, and so the cycle deepens. This feedback loop explains why small changes matter. One empowering habit can shift your mindset, and one powerful mindset shift can birth countless new habits. They do not exist in isolation, they build each other, silently shaping the direction of your life. If you want to change your destiny, intervene in the loop. Start by feeding your mind with new beliefs through reading, reflection, and imagination. Then reinforce those beliefs with small, consistent actions. Watch as the loop turns in your favor, creating momentum that grows stronger with every cycle. The secret is this: you do not need to change everything at once. Change one thought, one belief, one habit, and the loop will begin to work for you instead of against you. And now, we reach the end of our journey. A journey through your mind, imagination, and habits. I hope you have discovered the true power of your thoughts, understood how your imagination can transform your reality, and realized how even the smallest daily habits shape the person you are becoming. Remember, real transformation begins from within. Every thought, every imagination, every habit adds a building block to the life you are creating. Don't stop here. Continue observing your thoughts, nurturing your imagination, and cultivating your habits. Each day is a new opportunity for growth and transformation. Your mind, your imagination, and your habits. 3 simple yet powerful keys that allow you to craft the life you have always dreamed of. Now, you are equipped with awareness, inspiration, and actionable steps. It is time to apply what you've learned and turn your life into a remarkable journey, full of strength, achievement, and creativity. Thank you for choosing to share this journey with me. Remember, every day is a new beginning, and every thought is a step toward your best life.